on August 11, 2025, was meant to be a day of quiet reverence across Japan. The Obon holiday, a sacred time when families return to ancestral homes to honor the spirits of the departed, had begun. But in Kyushu, Japan's southernmost main island, the skies betrayed tradition. A stationary low-pressure system, swollen with tropical moisture, stalled over the region. What followed was not just rain. It was a deluge that shattered records, swallowed towns, and tested the resilience of a nation. Amana City in Kumamoto Prefecture became the epicenter of the unfolding catastrophe. In just 6 hours, 370 millimeters of rain fell, more than double the city's average for the entire month of August. Rivers surged beyond their banks. Streets transformed into canals. Homes were consumed by mud. The Japan Meteorological Agency issued its highest-level warning, urging residents to evacuate immediately. Over 3 million people across Kyushu were placed under evacuation advisories. In Kosa Town, a family of 3 was driving toward an evacuation center when a mudslide struck. 2 were rescued. 1 remained missing. In Misato, an elderly man was trapped inside his home as the earth collapsed around him. He was pulled from the wreckage and rushed to a hospital. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba addressed the nation from Tokyo. "We are committed to implementing disaster response measures," he declared, activating an emergency task force and deploying the self-defense forces to assist with evacuations and supply delivery. Bullet trains connecting Kagoshima and Hakata were suspended. Flights were canceled. Roads became impassable. Kyushu Electric Power reported that 6,000 households in Kumamoto lost electricity. By evening, half had been restored. Meteorologists traced the disaster to a warm, humid front that created unstable atmospheric pressure. The result: extreme rainfall concentrated over mountainous terrain. Experts warned that climate change is amplifying such events. "I have never experienced rain like this," said Yoichi Takehara of the Japan Meteorological Agency. "There is a real threat to people's lives." In Kumamoto, over 400 millimeters of rain fell in 24 hours, a record for the region. Landslide warnings were issued for 9 prefectures. The saturated soil, combined with steep slopes, created a lethal combination. Television footage showed muddy torrents carrying broken trees and debris through city streets. In Kamiyamakusa, campers were stranded by rising waters. In Yamato Town, a mudslide buried a house. 2 were rescued. 1 remained missing. In Fukuoka, 2 people were swept into a surging river. Rescue teams searched through the night. Local stations showed submerged homes, shops, and roads under a meter of water. At Hakata Station, crowds gathered as bullet train services were suspended. The Obon Festival, a time for spiritual reflection and family reunions, was overshadowed by disaster. "We were preparing to honor our ancestors, but now we're just trying to stay alive," said a resident of Yamato Town. Ceremonies were postponed. Travel plans were canceled. The spiritual rhythm of the season was drowned in sirens and rainfall. The Ministry of Defense deployed self-defense forces to deliver fresh water and supplies to isolated communities. Engineers began assessing damage to bridges, roads, and railways. Urban planners called for a reassessment of flood defenses and early warning systems. International aid offers poured in. Climate advocacy groups called for urgent action on infrastructure adaptation. The disaster reignited debates about Japan's vulnerability to extreme weather and the need for systemic resilience. Volunteers arrived with food, blankets, and hope. And amid the wreckage, the rituals of Obon resumed. Not in temples, but in shelters, where candles flickered beside photographs of loved ones lost and found. The Japan Meteorological Agency has issued a heavy rain emergency warning for 5 cities and 2 towns in Kumamoto Prefecture. A heavy rain emergency warning is in effect for the cities of Tamana, Yukai, Yatsushiro, Kamimakusa and Amakusa, and the towns of Nagasu and Hikawa. The JMA says warm, moist air flowing into a front is bringing record precipitation to the prefecture. Bands of heavy rain clouds over Kumamoto triggered a warning of severe downpours. The agency held a press conference earlier on Monday and advised people to exercise utmost caution. An official urged people in areas covered by the warning to immediately secure their safety. He added that people in landslide warning areas should be on the highest alert. He said, "If you feel that evacuating to designated shelters is unsafe, move to a place away from streams and cliffs, or head to tall buildings that are unlikely to be flooded. Even in places not usually prone to disasters, maximum caution is required." The JMA has called on people to act swiftly and do all they can to protect themselves. The agency also says a low-pressure system is expected to bring rain to eastern and northern Japan through Tuesday. Japanese authorities on Monday urged millions to evacuate their homes after heavy rains unleashed floods and landslides in the country's southwest, leaving several residents missing. Television footage from various communities in Kumamoto Prefecture showed houses, stores, and vehicles submerged in about a meter of water. Surging rivers swept away vehicles and damaged roads. The situation is life-threatening and safety must be ensured immediately, the weather agency said. Maximum vigilance is required even in places where disasters are not normally considered to occur. Evacuation advisories and warnings were issued to more than 3 million residents in the southwestern regions, according to the Fire and Disaster Management Agency. Some 384,000 residents, mostly in Kumamoto, faced Japan's most serious evacuation warning, it said. The Japan Meteorological Agency issued a heavy rain emergency warning for Tamana City and Nagasu Town in the southwestern prefecture of Kumamoto at 0:20 a.m. on Monday, the highest level on its 5-tier scale. It is extremely likely that serious flood-related disasters have already occurred in the area. The agency is urging people to take immediate action to protect themselves. The agency says warm, moist air flowing into a rain front is bringing record rainfall to Kumamoto. Bands of heavy rain clouds over the prefecture triggered a warning of significant rainfall. Extremely heavy rain could continue in the Kyushu region. The meteorological agency says the risk of disaster could rise rapidly. The agency says bands of rain clouds could develop through Monday morning over Kumamoto Prefecture, as well as Fukuoka, Saga, Nagasaki, and Oita prefectures. The linear rain clouds could also develop through noon Monday over Kagoshima Prefecture, excluding the Amami region and Miyazaki Prefecture. A low-pressure system is expected to move close to the Hokuriku region through Monday evening. A front will persist in areas from the Sea of Japan side of western Japan to the Tohoku region through Tuesday. Rain is also expected to intensify in eastern and northern Japan. In the 24 hours through early Tuesday, up to 250 millimeters of rain is expected in northern Kyushu, Shikoku, and Tokai, and up to 200 millimeters in southern Kyushu and Kanto Kashin. Up to 180 millimeters of rain is likely in the Kinki region, and up to 100 millimeters in the Chugoku and Hokuriku regions and Yamaguchi Prefecture. Rain is expected to continue. In the 24 hours through early Wednesday, 150 millimeters of rain is forecast for northern Kyushu and Kanto Kashin, 120 millimeters for Hokuriku, and 100 millimeters for Tokai. People in Kyushu and Yamaguchi Prefecture are advised to be cautious against landslides, flooding in low-lying areas, rising river water levels, and river flooding. People in eastern and northern Japan are also urged to watch out for landslides, flooding in low-lying areas, high river water levels, and overflowing rivers.